Hi, this is Satiris Basakaropoulos. In this video today, I want to talk about why your job is a scam. Okay, this is going to sound like probably really crazy to 95% of people. Okay, especially if you're in a job as an employee. I'm not talking about work in general. I'm not talking about doing like general work or stuff like that. I'm just talking about a job as an employee. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, it's the biggest scam that's actually out there, right? And obviously 95% of people probably are in a job and they would disagree with that. But the fact of the matter is that the 5% of people who make the most money, generally the majority of them aren't in jobs. They're business owners or investors. Okay, so there is a reason why the top 5% make more money, and that is because they are not part of this scam, which we called jobs, and which is sort of programmed into our society by the education system and by the government. And the reason for that is basically because they obviously want to get as much money as possible off you, to be able to pay for their own agendas, maybe for wars and backhanders and going to the MPs flying around the world in their private jets and stuff, and going to and presidents and all that going to meetings and spending millions, and it's all really one big scam. Now a lot of people would disagree with that, and don't probably know half of what's going on, but that's if you've done as much research into all that stuff as what I have, you would sort of understand that. Now, one of the reasons why I say that a job is a scam, because one of the things that our present society is sort of the way it's made is it's made to sort of keep you in like in a jar, yeah. It keeps you in like a small place, so you can't sort of expand your thinking that much. And the reason for that is because you sort of go into your job first as a child. You grow up, you're put into a school, okay, and the whole thing about that is that you're put into a school so that you can get an education to get a job, and that's the whole social programming behind it. And basically, they started schools off for teaching children, years ago, to go and work in factories. So basically, school was brought in to program people to, go and get a job. And the reason that, the government want you to work a job is because they take your tax money at source. So basically what happens is you earn your money, they take your money off you, okay, and then whatever's left you get to spend to survive, yeah. Whereas if you're self-employed or a business owner, you basically earn your money, you have your expenses which go out, which could be your car, your office equipment, your business, all different things, and basically you take off your expenses, and then you're taxed on the profits, basically, okay? So, I mean, generally you could have quite a lot of expenses, in your business. There's a lot of reasonable expenses that you can have. You might need a car for your business, depending on what it is. You might need to travel, if you're a property investor and you're buying property abroad, you might need to travel to go and see the properties. You might need to entertain business clients and stuff like that. So there's all sorts of reasons where in your business you would need to spend money, and that's perfectly deductible as an expense, as it should be. But as an employee, you don't get the chance to deduct anything. Basically, they take the money off you, at source. So, I mean, you're losing 25%, 20% or 40% of your money, basically as soon as you get it. And then, so really the first 5 months of your year you actually work for the government as a employee with a job. So, that is basically the reason why, for me, a job is just a scam. You're much better off having your own business, having your own investments. If you look at the big companies, you look at the amount of money they turn over and the amount of profit they make, the amount of money they make, not even profit, because what they do is they reinvest their money back into increasing their business to make more money. They're paying very little in taxes because they legally, expand their business, whereas the employees who work in the factories, they get a low wage to begin with, a lot of them, and then on top of that, they get, if they're on a high wage earner, they're brought down to a low wage earner. So even if they're getting 100,000, a year, they're put into maybe 40 or 50% tax bracket, so they're instantly brought down to 50,000 a year, which is, someone who's getting a lower salary. Then they lose a lot of their different things. They maybe lose, depending on what country you're in, you maybe lose benefits. You maybe have to pay for dental expenses and all sorts of other things extra, if you're on the 50,000 a year. So at the end of the day, you're actually really sort of kept at the same level as an employee. Okay, you might drive a better car and stuff like that, and so on and so forth, because obviously you're in 100,000 a year job, so you maybe need a bigger car to keep up with your colleagues at work, and then you've higher car payments and stuff. But really, at the end of the day, you're sort of struggling. You're sort of struggling. And the most important thing, and this is the reason why it really is a scam, okay, forget about the fact that they're taking, a huge amount of your money and just blowing it, and going and blowing up all these countries and, complete nonsense that they throw your money away on. But apart from the fact of that being a scam in itself, right, what you have to look at is that your most valuable thing is your time. Yeah, your most valuable thing is your time here. So, obviously we only given one life. We only get once to see our children grow up and to do things. And one of the things about having a job is that people are sort of programmed that, their whole life is gone. They go into their job maybe on a Monday and they work, Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday, and they come home at night. And by the time they come home at night, they're so glad to get home, to be out of work, not working anymore. And they just want to sit and relax. And then what happens is we have the propaganda machine, which is basically the television, which is owned by all the big corporations, and what they do is they will program you. They will they will advertise stuff that you need to buy to keep up with the Joneses and, sort of stuff like this. And they will basically tell you the story on their agenda that they want you to believe, right? So, for example, they might say that, we're starting the war in Syria because the Syrian people are, being gassed or something, right? When the truth of the matter probably is that the Americans have sent people in, to mercenaries in to go and kill people, so that they can start a war, to take over the gas and oil supplies. And because Syria is the only country left after Libya and Iraq who don't have their the Rothschild central bank in. So basically, they want to get the Rothschild central bank in because Syria has obviously a lot of money in oil and stuff, and they want to obviously get their hands on that, and they also want to put it into debt because it's not in debt. It's one country that's not in debt because they don't, have a fiat currency. So, that is their reason for going in there. But, people who go to their job and go home on the weekend, and sit and watch the news or whatever on television, and it basically tells them that, this dictator's gone in and he's, poisoning everybody and gassing people and doing all this sort of stuff. Which at the end of the day, a lot of it is complete nonsense. It's basically to suit their agenda. So, your most valuable thing in life is your time. Your time freedom and what you can do. And the other thing is, by having a job, you're selling your time for money, okay? By creating a business, whether it's an online business or, a product line business or whatever, by creating a business, firstly, you're creating jobs for other people who want jobs, because let's face it, even if a job is the biggest scam, right, there's always going to be people who want a job. The reason people want a job is that firstly, it's been programmed for hundreds of years into people, right? So it's all part of the programming. As well, people believe that a job is, secure. So if you have a job, you have job security, and you can go to the bank and say, yes, I make $500 a week, so, I can pay my mortgage and I can pay this and I can pay that. When the reality is that really that person is working for a corporation or working for another person, and at any stage that corporation can sell the company, close it down, and their job's gone. Or they can bring in someone younger and say, look, we want someone 20 years younger. We're going to let you go because you're not fast enough, or because you don't know enough about this or whatever. And basically they can go and fire them. So really, the job security is never there either, right? So there is no security, right? One of the things people like jobs for is the job security, but really, when you get a job, you actually don't get any security. It's the opposite. You're completely insecure, even though you might feel secure while you have the job. But if you ask any one of the people, who are many, who've got kicked out of their jobs or fired or whatever, they will tell you that their job wasn't really secure. So this thing about going and getting an education and spending 20 years and getting yourself hundreds of thousands into debt to get your education, so that you can get a good job, to be secure, is, very, very huge scam. It's a huge scam. It really doesn't work. I mean, the most successful people have all these graduates who've studied for 20 years working for them as an employee, so going to school and stuff isn't really the be and end all for changing your life. And certainly having a job, what it ensures is, the biggest thing that you will pay in your lifetime, isn't your house, isn't your car. It's basically taxes. So if you choose to be an employee, you choose to lose an extra 25 or up to 40% in taxes, right? Now, don't get me wrong, everyone is getting taxed, like crazy, right? Like crazy, you're paying, VAT, value added tax on your goods when you buy them, 20%. You're paying VAT on your fuel, 20%. You're paying VAT on your clothes. You're paying, for your electrical equipment, you're paying tax. Then you're getting taxed if your business makes over a certain amount of money. Then you're getting, you're going to be paying. People probably pay about 90% of their money that they get in tax. But by adding an extra 20, 30 or 50% on top of that, you're leaving yourself in a position where, you're not going to have anything. You're going to struggle for the rest of your life. You're going to work for someone else to build their dream, build their business, and at the end of the day, when they shut the business down and when they sell it and make a big profit and retire with their feet up, you will be left high and dry looking for the next job. You won't be any younger, you mightn't be any fitter or healthier. So, that's a sad scenario to be in. So that's the reason why I believe that a job is the biggest scam. A lot of people will disagree with that, but that's how I see it. And the thing about it is normally if somebody's in a certain position, they're the last people to be able to see what's happening. So normally, if someone has a problem or is the problem, normally they're the last people to actually see it. Yeah. So by having a job, you don't have time to look at yourself. You don't have time to look at your life. The first thing I remember is when I, made a decision never to have another job again. I remember just going one day, to the school to take my boys to school, and I just saw everyone run around like sheep. They were running around, and it was just like a herd of sheep. And basically, that's what the 95% of the people are. They're like a herd of sheep. They get up at 8 o'clock so that they can go to the job. They sit in traffic for 2 hours, wasting fuel that they pay tax on to get to the job, pay tax on the car to be able to drive to the job, and then, wear their car out to drive around the country to do their job, and then come back at the end of the day wrecked, have to make their car payment, and then have to buy a car every 2 years because they're doing a lot of miles to go up and down to do their job. And, it's like a sort of vicious circle. And at the end of the day, it's so simple to sort of set up a business. You can set up a home-based business, you can set up an internet-based business. There's so many other businesses you can set up. It doesn't have to be like digital or anything like that. You could sell physical products, but what you could do is you could bring other people in and get them to work for you, because people are always looking for jobs. So, you could bring people in and they can come and work for you because they're happy to sort of, give their time for money, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, you can be free, you can go, you can set up a business, you can go away and leave somebody in charge, manager, somebody to run your business and to make money for you 24/7. And you can be somewhere else. You have your time, you have your life, you have your income, and you're responsible. If you don't run your business well, or you put your business in the wrong location or whatever, it's your responsibility. Anything that you do wrong, you will pay for financially. Everything you do right, you will get rewarded for financially. And most people don't want that sort of responsibility, because it's easier to leave the responsibility on their employer. It can be, why are you broke? Why have you no money? Oh, because my employer doesn't pay me much money. Why are you broke? Why have you no money? Oh, because my employer sacked me last month because the business wasn't making enough profit, so he decided to get rid of some of the staff. So it's very, very easy to live like that and sort of not have to, deal with your own business or, having to take responsibility as well. And that's the good thing about some jobs, not all jobs. There's some jobs that the responsibility is crazy. You're getting all this responsibility and getting paid not very little for it, or you're getting paid a lot for the responsibility, but you've no time, you don't get to see your family, you're completely wrecked all the time, and then you pay 50% taxes before you actually get to see any of that money yourself. So that's the end of my talk on why I believe a job is the biggest scam. And feel free to share your comments below. What you think, share your comments. I look forward to that. And if you like the video and you find some of it interesting, click the like button. That would be brilliant as well. If you want to find out more about what I do, you can just basically click on the link below this video. And if you're on my website and you're seeing this video and you want to find out more about what I do, if you just click the button below the video, you'll be able to find out more about what I'm actually doing. So that's it, and I'll talk to you again soon.